Hey everyone, and welcome. We're about to dive into this incredible study that might just flip everything you think you know about getting better grades. It's not about more homework, it's not about longer school days. It's something much, much more fundamental that could honestly change how we think about education.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a big question. What if I told you there was a single approach that could not only boost test scores, but also help create more resilient, well-adjusted, and just happier kids? I know it sounds almost too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what researchers set out to figure out.
So let's start with a number 11%. What on earth is that? Well, this represents an 11th percentile point gain in academic achievement. To put that in perspective, this means the average student, the one right in the middle at the 50th percentile, who went through a certain kind of program, jumped all the way to the 61st. That's a huge leap. So, what's the secret sauce here?
Well, that incredible boost, it doesn't come from more homework or extra tutoring. Nope. It comes from programs that focus on what some people call soft skills. But trust me, the results are anything but soft. The official name for this is social and emotional learning, or as you'll often see it, SEL. So we know it gets results, right? But before we dig into the mountain of evidence, what exactly is social and emotional learning? It's a term that gets thrown around a lot these days, but it has a very specific meaning. Okay, so the study gives us this pretty formal definition, but let's break it down. It's basically the process of learning how to do all the things that make us functional humans, right? Like recognizing your emotions and not letting them run the show, setting goals for yourself, seeing things from someone else's point of view, building good relationships, making smart choices. The most important part here, these aren't just things you're born with. They are skills. They can be taught and they can be learned.
And this whole big idea gets broken down into 5 core skills that kind of build on each other. It all starts with self-awareness, just figuring out what you're feeling and what you're good at. Then you get self-management. That's all about controlling those feelings. From there, you look outward to social awareness, basically empathy. And that helps you build better relationship skills, like, actually communicating well. And it all leads to that final piece, responsible decision-making. These 5 things are the building blocks. Okay, so why is this such a big deal right now? Why all the focus? Well, it's because the data is showing us a pretty scary picture. Students are facing challenges that old school academics just can't solve on their own.
And when you look at the numbers, it's kind of staggering. The research points to this huge disconnect. We're talking up to 60% of high schoolers just completely checked out from school. And get this, less than half of them say they have basic skills like empathy or knowing how to resolve a fight. And on top of that, you've got almost a third getting into multiple high-risk behaviors. This is the reality that schools are dealing with every single day.
So in response to this, thousands of these SEL programs have popped up. But the big question is, do they actually work? To find out, researchers did something called a meta-analysis. Basically, they took hundreds of different studies, threw them all into a giant pot, and stirred it up to see what the overall truth was. And when I say massive, I am not kidding. We're talking about 213 different programs with over 270,000 students, from kindergarten all the way to high school. So this isn't some tiny one-off experiment. This is a deep, comprehensive look at the whole field. And what they found, well, you can see it in this table. It was just incredibly consistent. Students in these programs got better at pretty much everything. Their social skills improved, their attitudes about themselves and school got better. You see more positive social behavior. But check out the other side. It wasn't just about adding good stuff. It was about taking away the bad. Huge drops in conduct problems and emotional distress. And there it is at the bottom, the big one we started with, a real significant boost in academic performance. But, and this is the million-dollar question, does any SEL program work? The answer from the research is a huge, resounding no. It turns out the really successful programs all shared a kind of secret formula, an approach the researchers called SAFE.
Because it turns out the design of the program is everything. The well-designed ones, the ones that followed this SAFE formula, they're the ones that got all those amazing results we just saw. And the poorly designed ones, they did basically nothing. So what in the world does SAFE stand for?
Okay, first up, S is for sequenced. This just means the program has to make sense. It uses a step-by-step approach. I mean, you wouldn't try to learn calculus before you learn algebra, right? Same idea here. You have to build the foundational skills first. Next, A is for active, and this one is so important.
The best programs don't just have a teacher lecturing about being kind. No way. They use active learning, things like role-playing or group projects, stuff that gives students a chance to actually practice these new skills in a safe space. Then we have F for focused. This means you have to actually dedicate real time to it. It can't be an afterthought, something you try to squeeze in during the last 5 minutes of class. For these skills to stick, they need their own dedicated, protected time. And last but not least, E is for explicit. The goals have to be super clear. It's not enough to just say, our goal is for kids to be nicer. Nope. A good program says, today we are going to learn and practice 3 specific steps for active listening. It's targeted, it's clear, and you can actually measure. And the difference this SAFE formula makes is, honestly, it's just staggering. Look at this chart. That effect size number is just a way to measure how much of a real-world impact something has. The programs that met the SAFE criteria, a massive effect size. The ones that didn't, the effect was practically 0. This chart right here, this is the difference between a program that changes lives and one that's a complete waste of time. But hold on. There's one last piece to this puzzle. You can have the best designed program in the world, but if it's not actually done right, it doesn't matter. It's all about implementation. When the SAFE programs were done well, students saw gains in all 6 of those areas we talked about. But when they were implemented poorly, gains in only 2 areas. And here's the really shocking part. Almost half the studies, 43%, didn't even check to see if the teachers were actually following the plan. So what does all this mean? What's the big takeaway for all of us, parents, teachers, everyone? It means we might need to completely rethink what student success even looks like and how we get there. The evidence is just overwhelming. These skills aren't just nice-to-haves. They're fundamental to learning. The researchers included this really powerful quote from the U.S. Public Health Service, and it just frames the whole issue perfectly. It says that fostering this stuff in kids, it has to be a national priority. It's not a distraction from math and reading. It's a core part of raising healthy, well-developed human beings. And that leaves us with this one final, really important question. We have piles of research, data from over 250,000 students, all showing that when you do this right, when you have a well-designed, well-implemented SEL program, you get better learners, you get better behavior, and you get healthier kids. So if we know what works, what's stopping us from making it a standard part of every single child's education?